Rob Moyle, and I'm a professor in the Department of Ecology and Evolutionary Biology and a curator in the Biodiversity Institute, and also a co-director of the undergraduate biology program here at KU. My research focuses on basically biological diversity. So I'm an evolutionary biologist, and I seek to describe and understand the diversity in the natural world around us. And so part of that is describing patterns, figuring out what's out there, and then also trying to figure out the processes that sort of enable this diversity to exist where it does. So to do this research, it's actually kind of fun because I get to do a lot of different things. And so we do a lot of field work, and that field work is here in Kansas, but also all over the world. So a lot of my research is in Southeast Asia and the Southwest Pacific archipelagos. And we go to these places to find the diversity that we want to study. And so some of it is just surveys, see what's there. We collect samples and specimens for the Natural History Museum collections here. And those samples are critical for our research as well. And back at the lab, most of the data we deal with is DNA sequences. So we sequence DNA from whatever species or populations of interest, and we analyze those DNA sequences to figure out how the different populations or species are related to one another, how old they are. We can test whether they're currently interbreeding, so if there's gene flow between populations, things like that. So it's a nice mix of field and lab work and data analysis that kind of, at least for me, it keeps me interested because I can't do one thing all the time. This career path wasn't really planned out from the start. I guess it was more like one of those choose your own adventure books where you just keep getting confronted with possibilities and you turn one way and see what happens next. So when I was in undergrad, I knew I liked the sciences, but I didn't even know which one. So I switched majors from, environmental studies, geology, astronomy, and then finally biology. And so last day we had to declare majors. I chose biology. And then even then I wasn't sure what I wanted to do because I didn't know what all the options were with a degree in biology or any of the sciences really. All I knew was pre-med, but I knew I didn't want to be a doctor. So after college, I decided to go to graduate school and to a master's program, and I still didn't know what I wanted to do. And the master's program really figured out sort of what the options were in research and figured out what I really enjoyed doing, which was evolutionary biology. And so from there, I went on to get a PhD, and that's when I dove in a lot deeper into evolutionary biology, and that's what I've been doing ever since. My day-to-day sort of life in the lab is sort of like the research program. It's a mix. And so I teach classes, and so sometimes I'm out in the classroom teaching. I have undergraduates and graduate students in the lab, so there's a lot of time interacting with them, answering questions, giving them guidance on projects. We field a lot of trips to go out to do field work. So right now we're preparing to send graduate students to the Philippines for a trip. So the last few days have been going over packing lists and permits and whatnot to get them prepared for the trip. When I have time, there is some data analysis. So sitting at a workstation, just getting analyses set up to run, editing papers, manuscripts. It's pretty diverse in terms of the types of things I do on a day-to-day basis. Mm-hmm. My favorite class to teach would probably be ornithology. So I'm an evolutionary biologist, but the focal group that I study is birds. And so I teach evolutionary biology, which is a great class. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm teaching that right now. But I also teach a class that's focused on birds alone, ornithology. And that's probably the most favorite because you can really dig into lots of cool examples from the bird world and get people excited about even backyard birds around here, but also worldwide bird diversity as well. I often get asked if I have a favorite bird, and I always struggle with that because there's a lot of cool birds out there, and cool for different reasons. Some are just gorgeous, colorful. Some have interesting behaviors. Some are just dear to me because of a trip I took, things like that. But I've thought about it, and if I had to say, my favorite would probably be a bird called Whitehead's broadbill. And it's only found in Borneo, where I did my graduate work. And it's this brilliant green color, and only lives up in the mountains, very charismatic. So I guess that would have to be it. So when a student takes ornithology, I hope they would walk away with an appreciation for how incredibly diverse birds are in terms of everything they do: diet, behaviors, where they live, how they make a living, and the fact that birds are a wonderful group to study because their behaviors are so diverse. There's a lot of ornithologists out there, not just because their birds are pretty, but they're easy to observe, and they have a incredible diversity of behaviors. If you think about all the songs they sing, all the displays they do, there's not a lot of other groups of organisms that have that kind of diversity of behaviors to study. So they're a great system for that. I would also hope they walk away with an appreciation that not just birds, but all wildlife is in peril. Lots and lots of species, populations are in decline, habitats are being lost at a rapid pace. And so, appreciation for what we have, and the realization that we might lose it if we're not careful. Mm-hmm. If I had to give advice to students, well, thinking back to my undergraduate career, I didn't dive in until grad school. And I think if you have an inkling of what you might be interested in, I would say dive in. You'll only find out if you like it or don't like it by trying it out. And so talk to professors, volunteer in labs, get a paid position in the lab. You might not like it, and that's as important as finding out that you do like something. So definitely trying out a lot of different things, and then find what you love. It's really easy to go to work when you like your job. So figuring out what you like is incredibly important.